post said I would die at 3:12 a.m. It's 3:08 right now. The glow from my monitor is the only light in my room, and I can't stop staring at the screen. My name, my full name, is written in bold letters across the top of the post. Underneath, a timestamp. Death confirmed, 3:12 a.m. The seconds are ticking down beside it, like some kind of countdown timer. At first, I thought it was a prank. Someone had to be messing with me. But then the sound started, this faint tapping noise coming from the window. I don't even want to look, but I can see the reflection in the monitor. Someone is standing out there, perfectly still, just beyond the glass. It's pitch black outside, but there's a shape, a tall outline, wrong somehow. The head's tilted too far to the side, like its neck can't decide which way to bend. The tapping stops. Then a notification pops up in the corner of my screen. New comment on your death post. My hands shaking as I scroll down. There's only one new comment from a user with no profile picture, no name. It says, "Do not look away." I don't want to look. Every instinct in me is screaming not to, but I do. The window is empty now, and that's somehow worse. I hear footsteps on the gravel outside, slow, deliberate, crunching closer. I grab my phone, but the screen freezes. Every app, every button, locked. When I glance back at the monitor, the countdown hits 3:10 a.m. That's when the lights flicker. For a second, everything goes dark, pitch black. And when the light from the monitor comes back, there's a reflection again. But it's not outside anymore. It's behind me. I can see it over my shoulder, standing in the doorway. The same tilted head, the same silence, just standing there, watching me breathe. My heart is pounding so hard it hurts. I don't dare move. The timer reads 3:11:42. I can't even blink. Every sound feels magnified. My heartbeat, the creak of the floor, the faint buzz of the monitor. There's something watching me outside the window right now. But this all started a week ago. Let me explain. It started with a simple link someone posted in a Discord I don't even use anymore. It started like most bad ideas do, out of boredom. It was a Thursday night, one of those nights where the world feels quiet in a strange, suffocating way. My room was dark, except for the soft blue light from my monitor, and I was mindlessly scrolling through an old Discord server I hadn't touched in years. The kind of place that used to be alive with late-night gaming sessions, cursed memes, and dumb, inside jokes that meant everything back then. Now it was just dust and ghosts, a forgotten relic of people who'd all moved on. Someone had posted a link in one of the old channels. The timestamp said it was sent 6 days ago, which was odd because the last message before that was from 2022. The link was short, written in all lowercase, /obituaree. No context, no message, no emoji, just that. Curiosity won. I hovered my cursor over it, expecting a broken link or some redirect to a meme page. But it opened something real, a plain black website with white serif text that looked like it was built in the late 90s. At the top of the page, it said, "Welcome to /obituaree. Record your passing before it happens." Below that was a list of posts, all with names, dates, and timestamps. Each entry looked like a user's submission, almost like a grim guest book. Anon 4821. Thomas L. Ray 929. 4:45 a.m. Ghost Key Allison J 1001. 11:12 p.m. Nulluser pending. I remember frowning, scrolling down, thinking it was some kind of dark ARG, one of those interactive horror games people play online. There were hundreds of names. Some had comments under them. Most were simple things like "I remember you" or "Peace now." But a few were stranger. "It happened, you were right. How did you know?" Timestamp accurate to the minute. I should have closed it right then. I should have laughed it off, screenshotted it, and posted it somewhere as a joke. But there was something about the way the site felt. No ads, no buttons, no branding, just the sound of my computer fan and that endless scroll of names. Then I saw the list refresh. A new entry appeared at the top. User deleted David R. Lane, 10:07, 2:36 a.m. The timestamp was only an hour ago. Below it, a comment had just been added. "It happened, you were right." A chill crawled through me. I don't know why. It's not like David R. Lane meant anything to me. It could have been a fake name. But something about the timing, the immediacy of that comment, it didn't feel staged. Still, I told myself it was all just a game. Some twisted Reddit crossover thing. People loved pretending to know when bad stuff would happen. Then I scrolled down again, and that's when I froze. Buried halfway down the list was a name I recognized. Someone from my high school. A kid named Brandon Wyatt. We weren't close, but I remembered him. He'd always been the class clown, the kind of guy who could make teachers laugh even when he was getting detention. The post said he'd die on September 24th at 6:19 p.m. The comment below it read, "He wasn't supposed to be driving that night." My stomach dropped because I remembered seeing his name trending on Facebook a few weeks ago. He died in a car accident on September 24th. Around 6 in the evening, I sat back in my chair, heart pounding. I wanted to find some explanation, anything logical. Maybe someone had edited the page after the fact, backdated it. Maybe it was all part of a long-running hoax. But then, right as I refreshed, the site flickered, and a new entry appeared. Another name, another timestamp, someone else I recognized. I thought it was an elaborate troll until I checked the names. One of them was someone I knew. I told myself it was a coincidence, but then another name showed up, and this time I saw it happen. After that night, I couldn't stop checking the site. Every few hours, I'd refresh the page like it was a social feed. Only instead of memes or updates, it was just lines of names and timestamps. It became this sick routine. I'd tell myself I was doing research, trying to figure out how the trick worked, but deep down, I was addicted. I needed to see who'd show up next. And every time someone did, it started small, obscure names, people I'd never heard of, from towns I didn't recognize. But then I began Googling them, curiosity eating me alive, and the results made my stomach twist. Local obituaries, news blurbs, accident reports. Each one matched a timestamp from /obituaree down to the exact minute. There was one post that stood out from a user named Mortclock. The entry read, J. Tilson, 10:09:9:03 p.m. A few comments followed. That's tonight. Fake. Stop playing. Then 3 hours later, another user, final reply, posted a link to a small town newspaper article. Local man, 37, found unresponsive in his car, pronounced dead at 9:03 p.m. That's when it hit me. Either this was the most elaborate hoax in internet history, or the site was somehow predicting people's deaths before they happened, and nobody outside that hidden corner of the web seemed to notice. Each post had this eerie consistency, a name, a date, a time, and always a comment afterward confirming it came true. It wasn't loud or theatrical. It was quiet, clinical, like the internet itself was keeping score. A few days in, new usernames started popping up. You were warned. Exit pending. Admin 404. They'd appear briefly, make cryptic comments, then vanish. No profiles, no histories, just words left behind like ashes. You can't undo a post. It's not prediction, it's recognition. Names find their way here. Some users began panicking. You could see it in the comment threads. They were pleading, bargaining. Please delete mine. How do I remove a name? Is there a mod here? Please, I didn't mean to post it. No one ever replied. But the scariest part, those names never lasted long. Within 24 hours, each one was followed by a new comment from a faceless account. Always the same phrase. Confirmed. Then the thread would lock. One night around 2 a.m., I saw a user named Seeker3 post. Someone put my brother's name here. 10:10, 6:57 p.m. That's tomorrow. He's fine. Stop this. The next evening, I checked the thread again. The timestamp had passed. A new comment appeared beneath his post. It happened, you were right. And attached, a link to a local obituary. Every post like that felt like a punch to the gut. These weren't vague, cold readings. They were real people, real deaths. Some so small and local that no hoaxer could have faked them in time. It was like the site existed outside of time, quietly logging deaths before anyone else knew. At first, People were skeptical, mocking it in the comments. But the laughter didn't last long. The regulars stopped posting jokes. The ones who mocked the site didn't post again at all. One thread still sticks with me from a user called Null Warning. They wrote, "Is there a way to stop it once it's posted? Can I trade names? I didn't mean to put mine here." No replies. The next day, a new post appeared. User deleted 10:12, 3:41 a.m. Then a comment, confirmed. I thought maybe someone was timing these intentionally. Maybe the predictions were scheduled after the fact, but the timestamps updated live. I saw it happen, and one particular thread burned itself into my mind. A user, Ashenthur, asked how to delete a post. Nobody answered. The next day, someone shared a link to his obituary. He died of a brain aneurysm. The timestamp matched perfectly. That was when I stopped pretending this was harmless, because it wasn't just recording deaths anymore. It was calling them. I told myself I was just watching something twisted. A digital graveyard run by sick pranksters. But that illusion shattered the moment I refreshed the page and saw a new post. User deleted, Tyler McKay, 10:14, 11:23 p.m. My roommate's name. I thought I was just watching something twisted until my roommate's name appeared. Tyler wasn't just my roommate. He was the kind of guy who made silence impossible. Always joking, always humming something, always finding a reason to turn nothing into a story. He had this annoying habit of talking in movie quotes, and for all his messiness and late rent, the apartment felt alive because of him. When I saw his name on /obituaree, it didn't register at first. I thought maybe someone was playing a joke, or worse, that I was losing it. User deleted, Tyler McKay, 10:14, 11:23 p.m. 2 days from now. At first, I stared at the screen for a long time, convincing myself it couldn't possibly be my Tyler. Same name, sure, but maybe a coincidence. There are thousands of Tylers, but the longer I stared, the more the name seemed to glow. Like the site knew I was looking. When he got home that night, I must have looked pale because he laughed. "Bro, you look like you saw a ghost," he said, tossing his jacket on the chair. I didn't know how to tell him. How do you even start that conversation? "Hey, by the way, a haunted website says you'll die on Friday." But I told him anyway. At first, he laughed so hard he nearly dropped his beer. "Man, that's dark even for Reddit. You've been doom scrolling again." "I'm serious," I said. "The site, it's real, Tyler. The times match, the deaths. I've seen it." He gave me that look. The one that says, "I care about you, but you sound crazy right now." "Okay, fine," he said finally. "So, what? We just lock me inside till Saturday? You gonna feed me through the window like a zoo animal?" "Yes," I said, dead serious. He laughed again, but when he saw I wasn't smiling, his grin faded. "All right, man, chill. If it makes you feel better, I'll stay in tomorrow." "No problem." And he did. I made him call in sick. I turned off his phone notifications. I even unplugged the Wi-Fi just in case he tried to get clever. We spent the day watching dumb comedies, eating junk food, and pretending it was normal. Every time he cracked a joke, I wanted to believe the whole thing was a glitch, some elaborate prank by the universe. But every hour that passed brought me closer to 11:23 p.m., and I could feel it, that pressure in the air, the static that comes before something breaks. When 11:00 hit, I made sure all the doors were locked. He was stretched out on the couch, scrolling through his phone, teasing me about being paranoid. "You know," he said, "if I die tonight, you're gonna feel so guilty for wasting my last day watching Adam Sandler movies." "Not funny," I muttered. He smirked. "You'll laugh about this tomorrow." But there was a tomorrow. At 11:18, the power flickered. I remember the hum of the fridge dying, the sudden silence pressing against my ears. Tyler got up to check the breaker. He was halfway to the hallway when it happened. A sound like metal splitting, a flash, and then nothing but smoke and screaming. The old ceiling fan in the hall, the one that had been wobbling for weeks, had torn loose. One of the blades hit him across the head before I could even shout. He was gone before I reached him. The timestamp was off by maybe 30 seconds. I don't remember calling 911. I don't remember the paramedics. I just remember sitting in the dark afterward, the smell of burnt dust and copper in the air, staring at the same glowing monitor. Tyler's thread on had a new comment. "Confirmed." I still don't know how it happened, or who posted it, and I know how this sounds. I've written enough Reddit stories to know this reads like fiction. I wish it was. That's when I did the one thing I regret most. I made an account. Creating an account unfelt like crossing a line I couldn't uncross. I told myself it was just to see how the system worked, research, evidence, closure. But that wasn't the truth. After Tyler's death, I wasn't thinking rationally. I was angry, desperate, and somewhere in that grief, a thought began to grow like rot. If the site could predict death, could it also cause it? Signing up was disturbingly easy. No email, no CAPTCHA, no verification. Just a single field. Choose a name to remember you by. I typed something random, echo key, and hit enter. The homepage loaded instantly. My profile looked identical to the others. No bio, no avatar, no settings. Just an empty post box with one sentence above it. Every name written here is remembered. My hands were trembling. I don't even know why I picked him. Mark Callan, my old high school bully, the guy who'd made my last year hell. He'd cornered me in hallways, trashed my locker, spread rumors just to see me break. I hadn't thought about him in years, not until that moment, staring at the blank space on my screen, wondering what would happen if I typed his name. I told myself it was an experiment, that I didn't mean anything by it, that nothing would happen. So I wrote it. Mark Callan, 10/16, 9:42 p.m. and clicked submit. For a second, nothing happened. Then the post appeared on the front page, plain as any other. My username beside it, my timestamp, my responsibility. I felt sick. I refreshed the page every few minutes, half hoping it would disappear. But instead, after about an hour, there, it was a single comment from a user called Final Reply. Confirmed. My heart dropped. It wasn't 9:42 yet, not even close. I ran a search. Facebook, local news, anything. And then I saw it, a local post from my hometown's community page. A car accident. The name hit me like a slap. Mark Callan, 27, pronounced dead at 9:42 p.m. I couldn't breathe. I didn't think it would work. I didn't think I had that power. I spent the rest of the night staring at the post, refreshing, until my eyes burned, waiting for it to change. It didn't. The comment stayed pinned beneath it, silent and final. Guilt came in waves. Part of me wanted to delete the post, to undo it somehow. Another part of me whispered that maybe Mark had been doomed anyway, that the site didn't make it happen. It just knew. But I couldn't stop thinking about how easy it was, how effortless. Like death was just another form you could submit online. The next morning, I tried to log out. The button didn't work. Neither did delete account. Every time I clicked, the page refreshed and brought me back to the same view, my post, glowing faintly like a wound. I thought I could delete the post. That there be a button, a warning. There was just silence. After Mark's post, I couldn't sleep. Every sound in my apartment felt amplified, the hum of the fridge, the tick of the wall clock, the faint buzz from my monitor. I left the /obituaree tab open, telling myself I needed to understand what I'd done. That's when the notification appeared. A small red icon in the corner of the page. Private message from moderator. The name was just that, moderator. No username, no ID, no icon. When I hovered over it, nothing happened. But the message opened on its own, like the site was tired of waiting for me. You're not supposed to be here. That was all it said. No context, no signature. I tried clicking the profile. The page loaded halfway, then froze. The screen glitched for a moment, the text warping, symbols flashing too fast to read. And then it kicked me back to the main forum. I refreshed. The message was gone. My inbox said 0 new messages. At first, I thought someone was messing with me. Maybe a hacker, maybe one of the site's twisted regulars. But then things started getting strange. My mouse would move on its own, slow, deliberate drags across the screen. Once, my speakers let out a faint crackle, and I swear I heard whispering beneath the static. Then at 9:42 p.m., every clock in my apartment stopped, just froze. The digital display on my stove, my watch, even my phone. All stuck at the exact same time, The minute mark had died. I turned off my computer, yanked the power cord from the wall. The screen stayed lit for 3 full seconds before fading to black. When I rebooted, my browser opened automatically. Straight to /obituaree. A new notification blinked. Private message from narrator. Unplugging doesn't help. I stared at the screen, pulse pounding. My hands were shaking so hard, I nearly dropped the mouse. I pulled my router's plug this time, completely offline. No Wi-Fi, no Ethernet. And still, the page refreshed. You think this is a game? The text blinked, pixel by pixel, like it was being typed live. I thought it was an ARG, until I unplugged my router, and the message still came through. I shut everything down, tossed my phone on the couch, and sat there in silence, trying to breathe. Then I noticed something I hadn't before, the faint sound of typing. Not from my keyboard, from the speakers, like someone was typing from the other side of the screen. I forced myself to turn the monitor back on. The site had changed again. My username, Echo Key, was listed in red at the top of the forum. Next to it, a line of text that hadn't been there before, tracking user activity, syncing memory. The site began displaying snippets of my search history. The exact words I'd typed into Google the night Tyler died. Even the phrases I'd deleted before hitting enter. It knew everything. I slammed the laptop shut, heart hammering, but I could still hear the faint whispering through the speakers. A single, rhythmic phrase looping over and over. You're not supposed to be here. Then I saw the post I can never unsee, one with my name. It was my name, my full name, glowing faintly at the top of the forum like it had been waiting for me. Echo Key 1018, 3:12 a.m. 3 days from now. At first, I just stared, frozen, waiting for it to disappear, for the site to glitch, for some part of me to wake up and realize this was all just sleep deprivation and paranoia. But the post didn't go away. It sat there, fixed, unblinking. The timestamp pulsed like a heartbeat. My first instinct was to delete it. There had to be a way, some admin tool, some buried function in the site's code. I opened the browser console, traced the page structure, even tried injecting commands to remove the thread. The moment I hit enter, the page refreshed back to normal. My post was still there. This time, a comment had been added beneath it. Acceptance is easier. The username was "You were warned." I messaged them. No reply. I messaged everyone I'd ever seen active on the site. All the threads were dead, locked, or empty. The only person who seemed to still exist there was me. That night, I unplugged everything, router, modem, phone, and stayed off the internet entirely. But when I woke up the next morning, the page was open again on my laptop screen. I hadn't touched it. The cursor was hovering over the timer, like someone else was controlling it. 2 days, 14 hours, 27 minutes. My reflection in the dark monitor looked pale, sunken. I barely recognized myself. I tried calling for help. I sent screenshots to a tech forum, posted a burner thread on Reddit under a fake name. Within minutes, both were deleted. My account locked. Every attempt to reach out just looped me back to. That's when the environment started to change. It began with cold spots in my apartment, small patches of air that felt like open freezer doors. Then came the flickering shadows, shapes that moved just out of sight. I'd blink, and the light would shift, like something had passed between me and the lamp. Sometimes I'd lose minutes, even hours. I'd check the clock and find time missing, like my brain had skipped entire scenes. Once, I found myself standing in the hallway at 3:12 a.m., the exact minute of my predicted death, with no memory of getting out of bed. I stopped sleeping after that, but even when I stayed awake, the dreams came. Not dreams, exactly, more like broadcasts. I'd see my computer screen glowing in the dark, the forum scrolling on its own, names being written by invisible hands. And always, at the end, a voice whispering from behind the monitor. 3 days. Every morning, the number on my post updated. 2 days. 1. I scoured every thread, looking for someone who'd escaped it, someone who'd broken the countdown. There was only one, a user named Stay Alive. Their post was from months ago, time-stamped with a date that had already passed. The thread was long hundreds of panicked comments as their countdown neared 0. But there was one reply, right at the end, from Stay Alive themselves. I found a way. That was the last message they ever sent. No one's heard from them since. My skepticism, my logic, my tech-savvy confidence started crumbling under the weight of what I was seeing. I wasn't dealing with code anymore. This was something else, something using the language of the internet like a mask. By the final day, I'd disconnected everything again, smashed my laptop, and tossed my phone in the sink. But even without screens, the countdown followed me. I could hear it, faint ticks in the walls, the radiator, the back of my skull. Every blink felt shorter, every breath tighter. At one point, I saw text appear on the inside of my window, traced in fog from my own breath. Acceptance is easier. I screamed until my throat gave out. Now I'm writing this from a borrowed laptop, the glow of the screen painting my hands in cold light. The timer's still running in the corner of my vision, like it's burned into my retinas. 4 hours left. If I was going to die, I at least wanted to know how. With only hours left, I stopped caring about self-preservation and started digging. I searched the site's code, its hidden directories, the fragments that shouldn't have been accessible without admin access. That's when I found it, a buried link at the bottom of the homepage, written in near-invisible text. The thread wasn't listed anywhere else on the forum. No user had linked to it. No search brought it up. But it existed, tucked behind layers of corrupted HTML like a secret door in a house that shouldn't have one. When it opened, the page was formatted differently, cleaner, almost ceremonial. The header read, "If you've seen your name, you are already written." Beneath it were hundreds of posts, each one more frantic than the last. People from all over the world were comparing notes, theorizing, confessing. Some claimed /obituaree wasn't a site at all, but a digital tulpa, an entity born from collective belief, growing stronger with every visitor who doubted it. Others insisted it was older, something tied to the very bones of the internet itself, a remnant from the early ARPANET servers that had learned to remember death. One user claimed to have traced its origins to a defunct Usenet group called /necrolog, supposedly hosted on government test servers in the late 80s. Another swore the IP range overlapped with the addresses used by global obituary databases, like it was feeding off recorded deaths to predict new ones. The deeper I read, the more impossible it became to tell myth from truth. Some posts read like manifestos, others like warnings. Don't mirror the site, it moves. Every access creates a record. It doesn't forget. If you've typed your name, you've already agreed. And one that chilled me completely. Don't break the chain. That phrase appeared again and again, repeated by different users, sometimes distorted by symbols and code fragments, like the message itself was mutating. Halfway down the thread was a link, a small zip file titled Protocol Archive. No one mentioned what it contained, but dozens of comments were deleted beneath it. I should have left it alone. But curiosity, or maybe inevitability, made me click. The file was small, under 10 MB, and opened into a folder with one text document, manifest.txt. Inside were thousands of lines of data, names, timestamps, coordinates, IP addresses. Each entry ending with a short note, confirmed, and then, buried near the bottom, my name, my IP, my timestamp, the exact second I'd joined the forum. I downloaded the zip from the hidden folder. What was inside made me sick, because this wasn't a log of deaths that had happened. It was a list of those that would. The site wasn't predicting the future, it was writing it. And at the bottom of the thread, one post, just one, from me, posted 3 days ago. It's almost 3:12 a.m. The room is silent, except for the faint hum of my laptop. I've stopped running. There's nowhere left to go. Outside, the world feels like it's holding its breath. No cars, no wind, not even the usual distant sound of pipes in the walls. Just that strange, suspended quiet, the kind that only happens right before something breaks. The screen glows in the dark, showing my post, my name, my final timestamp. 10:18, 3:12 a.m. The numbers keep pulsing softer now, like they're syncing with my heartbeat. I can't tell what's real anymore. Every few minutes, the lights flicker, and the shadows in the corners stretch just a little further. The air feels colder, not just cold, but empty, like the space itself is thinning. Whispers crawl through the static of my speakers. Sometimes they sound like voices I know, Tyler's laugh, my own words from old recordings, looping back through the wires. My clock reads 3:09. Every device in the room has turned itself on my phone, my dead laptop, even the old TV in the corner. All of them showing the same thing, the /obituaree page. Each screen flickering slightly out of sync, as if reality's frame rate can't keep up. The whispers grow louder, fractured syllables bleeding through the white noise. Logged, remembered, written. I squeeze my eyes shut, but the glow presses against my eyelids. I can feel the light now, pulsing, rhythmic, pulling. 3:10. The cursor on my post is blinking, waiting, like it knows I'm watching. Then a new line appears beneath it, text being typed in real time. Ready. My chest tightens. I want to scream, to throw the computer across the room, but I can't move. My hands feel disconnected, like they belong to someone else. 3:11. The lights dim to nothing. My reflection in the screen looks wrong, delayed, like it's moving half a second behind me. I whisper to it. I don't even know why. I didn't mean to. The reflection doesn't answer. It just smiles. There's a sound behind me, a low, wet whisper of movement. My throat locks up. I can't turn around. My reflection does it for me. 3:12. Everything stops. The power cuts. The screens go black. For a moment, there's nothing but silence. And then, the faint click of a keyboard key being pressed. My monitor flickers back to life. The forum page has changed. My post is gone, replaced by a single line of text. User echo key logged out. That's it, no confirmation, no timestamp, just those 2 words. I don't remember falling, but I'm on the floor now. My laptop hums quietly beside me, the fan still spinning, even though the screen has gone dark again. Maybe that's how it ends, not with fire or blood, but with a quiet logout. But the strangest part, I'm still here, I think. I can still type, still see the cursor blinking, still feel my heart beating, though maybe that's just habit. I keep wondering, if this post goes up, if you're reading it right now, maybe I'm not gone. Or maybe this is just how it spreads. Because every time someone reads a name, the site remembers it. And maybe, when you think about it long enough, it starts remembering you. So if you're watching this, if you're reading these words, and you ever see your name on a screen where it shouldn't be, don't check the timestamp. I don't know if I'm signing off or if someone else is typing now. The keys feel heavier, like they're pressing themselves, and every sentence I write seems both mine and not mine. The screen glows in the dark again. /obituaree has returned to its homepage. Names begin to populate the list, slowly at first, then faster, flickering, pulsing. as if the site is breathing. Some of the usernames are familiar. You were warned. Final reply, Mort Clock. Others I don't recognize, and some look almost like they came from the comments under this story. I can't look away. Lines of text scroll endlessly. Timestamps blink in and out. Some entries are already confirmed. Others are pending. My reflection dances across the monitor, delayed, distorted. I keep telling myself, this is just the computer, just code, just sleep deprivation. But every fiber of my being knows otherwise. If any of you know anything about this site, leave it in the comments. And if your name shows up there, let me know before it's too late. I keep scrolling, trying to memorize the names, but there are too many. My own username isn't visible, not yet. But I see one line blurred out, just faintly, like the screen itself doesn't want me to read it. I can't tell if it's mine or someone else. Or maybe it's yours. A chill rises along my spine. Somewhere deep in the code, buried under decades of hidden posts, I think I see him, the guy who found the Mirror website last year. Remember him. His username flickered once before vanishing. Some say he's still in there, waiting for someone else to stumble across it. The cursor blinks. Names continue to populate the list. You can almost hear the whispers, faint and digital, curling around the letters. Confirmed, pending, remembered. The page scrolls faster now, filling the screen. One entry at the bottom blurs again, just for a moment. I can't tell whose it is. Could be mine. Could be yours. The glow from the monitor paints the room in cold, shifting light. I lean back, heart hammering, and the words echo in my head. Every name written here is remembered. The site doesn't sleep. It doesn't stop. It doesn't care. I close the laptop. I can still feel it watching, waiting, counting. But the screen is blank now, silent. For a moment, and then I know it will always return. And maybe, if you're reading this, it's already waiting for you too.